Hey guys, thank you very much for joining us today. Today this is going to be recorded, so we're not actually pulling questions out of Discord. That has happened already, primarily for the Korean community. 안녕하세요. It's fantastic to be here with the absolutely legendary Mark Skaggs, who is leading Townstar development and game efforts in general. How you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing great. Super excited to be part of Gala.
I'm super excited to have you here. It was you're one of those people, and it's kind of interesting working at Gala is like this a lot, where you find yourself working with the people that made the games that you absolutely idolized. I can see in the background behind you a whole pile of stuff that appears to have been just kind of tossed there. I see a Command and Conquer Generals. Is that a big, gigantic General sign?
That is. That came from our E3 trade show booth.
What are the weird? They look like talons on the bottom there.
Yes.
Those. What are those?
This one is an award I got at Zynga after the team who made Cityville, Creativity. Then these three are Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Best Game of the Year. So one of them was for Best Strategy Game of the Year.
Okay, which one was that for?
That was for Generals. Then there was Best Social Game of the Year for Farmville, and then Best Social Game of the Year for Cityville. When I made those at Zynga.
Okay.
So it's kind of like.
So I guess you've been in the industry just a little bit, not really a newcomer to game development.
29 years, actually.
That's a lot of time. I don't. 29 years. Okay.
To the time when Sega Genesis and SNES were the popular platforms. 3DO had just launched. Yeah.
That's a while, man. That's a while. I see some Star Trek stuff back there, but I'm not gonna dig into that. So I think though the main salient point that I'm drawing from this is you've built a city/town/farm game in your day.
Yep.
So I think that is something that bodes very well for Townstar, and I really want people to understand how excited I am to have this in your hands, pushing this forward. Everyone else who has touched it has done an amazing job. There's been so much development and progress from the early days, but at the same time, like, holy shit, this is epic. So that's fantastic. Now, the context of this AMA is specifically to answer a lot of questions that the Korean community had. It's like 5:30 in the morning there, which is obviously a terrible time to do an AMA for people if you want them to actually be present and not be angry, because that's like post wake up, pre-coffee rage. Nobody wants that. So we asked Haley, our absolutely amazing one of our community leads for the Korean community, to collect questions and to translate them. And so I have a whole list of questions from people here. Do I have who asked them too?
Let's do it.
I don't have who asked them, unfortunately. So okay, so then I'm just gonna dive in, and I'm going to read these questions, and we're gonna talk about them. Okay.
Sounds
and
good.
we're gonna wander around as is per usual, but I figure we'll start with that. When gem system? I do not want to hear Thune, but exact month and date.
Okay, so I could tell 2 points about this. One is the gem system, the underlying infrastructure is in QA right now. Team's been working hard on that. We expect that to finish out, the infrastructure part of it to finish up in the next couple of weeks at most. And then on top of that, that's when we have to start building the features. We want to get the functionality right, and we're going to be very careful because this has a big impact on the game. It's going to be the way that we burn town coin. So we want to make sure we get it right. But yes, soon, but I can't tell you specifically we're in QA with it right now.
Okay, QA works. There's a gigantic, two gigantic questions that I'm not going to read because they're gigantic. Excuse me. One is a question about the Dragon autosell function.
Yes, next week.
Next week.
The week of July 11th. So if anybody's watching this after July 11th, you should see it. Now, again,
Okay.
caveats, unless we find some big nasty bug, but we are 90+%, maybe even 97%, if you want to get specific. Certain deliver this.
Maybe even 97%. That is oddly specific. Is there no decimals? Can't you go deeper than that?
Well,
I feel that 97 is too chunky of a number.
We could, but that'd take another probably day of our producer's time. So
okay, let's not do that then. The other question, and this is a big issue for people in general, is, and I'm going to poke at it just a tiny bit, is that the rewards for the competition server are what are in certain people's minds too low. So I'll let you poke at it first, and then I'll take a swing at it too.
So yeah, we see all the feedback. We see the feedback from everybody, and what we're trying to do is we're always reviewing the rewards. We're focusing on two areas. One, of course, is what the community likes, what they want, what's exciting for them, but also making sure we take into account having a healthy economy, making sure that the long-term and short-term value of the rewards are real. And so we're going to continue making tweaks and changes to them until we get it right in the context of the gaming community.
Right. The point that I would like to poke on a little bit there, excuse me, is that, again, at the very, very core, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make games that are fun to play. Okay? There are potentials to have play and earn opportunities within this, but the number one thing that we're looking to do is to create an amazing, engaging, fun game with kick-ass core loops that people want to engage in and that people will continue to play regardless of rewards. Now, I understand everybody wants rewards, but you have to understand that from our perspective, what we're looking to do is to make something amazing that lasts forever, not just vomit coins onto people. So that's an important thing.
And that's kind of what I like to call my bread and butter. Fun games that people just love to play. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What elements of Townstar do you think have gotten better this year?
Yeah, so this is literally my third week here, but the first couple of weeks has been I spent it learning about the team, learning about the history, reading through old documents. And what I can say is I'm really fortunate that Jamie Kiki, who used to be the leader of this team, she's transitioning on to bigger and better things, cooler things, but she and the team have done an amazing amount of work so far. They've fixed a lot of bugs. They've been doing some infrastructure fixes, infrastructure changes, and hiring new team members. So she's really set us up for this point to go forward and deliver more features in a faster pace and all kinds of great stuff.
I just saw technical difficulties pop up, Paul. Are we cool? Okay, cool. Awesome. Onward. Yeah, I think that one of the things that's really critical here, and this is something that has specifically been mentioned in the Korean community, is people feel that Townstar has been abandoned. People feel that there's no work going on because, for example, the Ledger of Truth, right?
Yeah.
The Ledger of Truth is fucking massive. It's an absolutely huge, colossally giant thing.
Yeah.
But it's not something that has, it's not red with racing stripes on it and a flag that waves around. It just happens in the background, even though it's massive. I mean, it as a developmental challenge, it's huge. But people don't see it, therefore didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I really want to drive that point home. And I think that what you guys will see is if you look at what we've been doing over the last year, it's been building, as Mark said, that foundation. Okay, that foundation that allows everybody to get ready to experience rapid growth as we push forward for smoother onboarding flows. And there's other stuff happening in Gala too, by the way, that is not part of Townstar, that is going to be very critical to this. I mean, we're a few weeks out now from having the ability to connect your own wallet without having to go through and create a Gala account and do the whole wallet creations thing, which is just a terrible high friction process. That's going to open up the ability to do user acquisition for games like Townstar in a way that we have never been able to do. So all of this is foundation for future growth. And now that we've built that foundation, now we can begin pushing things harder.
Absolutely. And just the game is definitely not. It is a priority for us, and that's part of the reason I'm here, is to help make some great stuff happen.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. It's a giant, not really a question. So I'm going to take this paragraph, which has to do with competition servers and different play to earn servers, and all these lots of little suggestions, really, rather than a question. Do you see a future where there are different servers running at some point?
Yeah. So here's the way I see it. Right now, we have to have one set of meta for all the servers. But what I do know from all my game experience, there are different classes of players who like different experiences. Some of them like competitions. Now we know some like PvE. Some of them like, for lack of better terms, just solo fun with their friends, right?
Right.
I think the job is to create those experiences and environments. Right now, we're not able to get there, but yes, that's the plan. We'll get those.
One of the things that Eric has mentioned in the past, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in regards to games like Farmville.
Mm-hmm.
Typically speaking, the demographics for a game like Farmville or Cityville, okay, are significantly different than the demographics for Command and Conquer Generals.
Yeah.
Okay, like radically different player bases. Do you see a future in which parts of Townstar could become more Farmville-esque, where people can visit each other's towns and they can sort of see what's going on if they want? Because right now it's this super intense, game of optimization, and you don't want to share your secrets and configurations and all of that. But what if I just want to have a really pretty bucolic little town and farm that I can bring people so they can see, this is where I make my wine, this is where I make my cheese, and things like that. Like I do you see a future for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I know is, in general, when you play games with your friends, it's more fun. Just basic. That's
Of course.
Graphic, who you're with, and part of that is creating a game that allows that to happen naturally, where you feel good about that. And I agree. Right now, when everything's so tight as a competitive game, you don't want to share, you want to show. But regardless if it's women 35 to 50 like it was on Farmville, or men 18 to 50 who play Command and Conquer, it's everybody likes to play with each other. So absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's part of just growing the appeal and the number of players inside the game. It's absolutely necessary. So we're in a good position to start doing that work now.
Nice. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to hit two questions here. I won't burden you with them, but I'm going to dig into them. There was a question that basically said that there was a problem where they had town points, but then there was an error and they were not able to recover the missing points. This is something that should be fixed. This is one of those situations where errors kind of void things, and that's the way that it needs to be. There are obviously improvements and whatnot going forward, but it's not one of those things that, basically, if we can't see it in the database, there's no way points can be awarded for anything. And so, you can submit tickets saying, oh, well, I had X number of points, but if we can't see it, there's nothing we can do about it. So, until we develop the systems that make that possible, there's not going to be a change there. And then the second one is that, how are you going to boost the town price by tokenomics? Okay. And I've explained this many times in other AMAs and with other parts of the community, but this is a really critical thing. We don't talk to or engage with the concept of price. I understand that is irritating. I understand that is frustrating for people. I understand that people get super grumpy. But it's just simply not something that we can nor should we get involved with. So all of that said, for us, what we want to do is we want to develop healthy economies that have a lot of opportunities for people to add energy to the economy and opportunities for people to remove energy from that economy. I've talked about this. I talked about it during my TED talk like a month ago or something like that. The way that I see this is that there are tons of people who love to play the game and just play the game because it's a fun game to play. And then there are a few people who, for them, removing a couple dollars can make a big difference. And that's something that we want to facilitate. And so, that requires that there be a token that has a good economy behind it in order to facilitate that. So that is our target. That's what we aim for, not a specific price. We're never going to say, oh, price target is X ever. We aim for creating a strong, viable, long-term, sustainable economy. Okay. Okay. Social features. Are there a plan for some social features?
I can talk about this. There's a strategy, but we don't have a specific plan yet. I'm still building design. I call it opening up a design space. And one of those design spaces is social features.
Okay.
Helping, sharing, and I hope to have that plan set up, or at least some of it set up by the end of the month. And then we'll have to
Nice.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
I keep noticing myself turning slightly yellow. So there we go. I'm kind of pinkish, but whatever. It's better than yellow. I had to disable the automatic white balance. Anyway, I'm so white that it doesn't know what to do with my white balance. Do you intend on sticking with like a monthly reset for the
question? Yeah, that's an interesting question, because there's some people that love that, want that longer term plan, and then there's some people like, give us 7 days and the puzzle. I think this comes down to player base, and what I want to do is I want to experiment with longer time frames, more building up, more longevity inside of your town, and also, but do that in a way that the players love, make it make sense.
Do you think there's an opportunity for, like, for example, one of the things that I think would be fun is I always hate it when the competition resets. Okay, because why do I hate it? Well, because for me, I'm not competing.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not playing to compete because I mean, God, all of you guys know this. I don't have time to play to compete. Like if I was on the leaderboard in Townstar, I think Eric would fire my ass because it would mean that I was not doing anything else. And I understand that the people who are dedicated to this absolutely crush it, and there's no way I could compete. So for me, I play Townstar because it's fun. I wanna make something. I want to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make, I'm gonna do wine today, or I'm gonna do baguettes, or I'm gonna do uniforms, or whatever it is. So that's me. So whenever things reset, I always get frustrated because that means that now I have to go do all of the shit that I did the first time and figure out where I'm going to put my gas and get enough money to bulldoze the trees and pave all the roads. And, it's just a pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is interesting to me is it would be cool to have new meta, like a new meta be introduced, or a new in-game item be introduced, if we could get to some sort of like product cadence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, where it's like, for example, if I'm just throwing this out here, like smoked salmon, like you were going to make smoked salmon bagel sandwiches. Okay, now we got all the stuff to make bagels. Like we could do that. Got bread and salt and all of that. We need some sort of fish thing, some sort of smoking thing, and let's say we add those two things in.
Yeah.
And then rather than resetting the competition, make it like a competition just with those new things. Yeah. So like the whole competition is just centered around who can make the most bagels. So the people who do have towns that want to engage in those competitions have to do a total teardown to get to that point.
Yeah.
And then the people that don't just continue with their grapes and whatnot. I mean, I just think that'd be cool.
How I see it. So you mentioned Command and Conquer RTS games and Farmville, right? Really
Right.
different. In Command and Conquer RTS games at all, it's like you build a sandcastle, right? You build a little base, you create an army out to attack, and but at the end of the game, either by your choice because you've won and you shut down the game, or you get wiped out, your sandcastle is washed away by the waves, right? Farmville, it's more like your garden. It's your special place where
Right.
you get into it and care for it over time. You add some new plants to it. You add some maybe decorations to it. So I think those are kind of like the two ends of the spectrum. And in Townstar, it is the idea that it is very much like the Arches game with the competition, where it's every day the sandcastle gets washed away. Every 7 days it gets washed away. I think there's a space for something like you're talking about, that garden, that thing that has persistence, that thing that grows, that you can express yourself, that you can decorate, that you can show off, right?
Right. Exactly. That for me is something that I think would be really cool.
I think other players think the same, and we can have a game that I think appeals to both types of players.
Are the person asked a question about promised features, things like that. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yep. Building a list of promises and features that have been talked about, not only through our team in the Discord, but also at Gala versus everything. We're stacking up that list. And my goal is to get through those features as soon as we can. I'm not going to talk about ahead of time too much about, yes, we're going to do it and try to make up dates on it. I'm changing the communication process from the team to be more along the lines of, hey, just like we talked about earlier with the auto sell and the dragons, right? Next week, right? It's coming next week. And so when we talk about stuff, I want everybody to be able to count on it and look at it and see if it's there. And, we're not going to be perfect, but maybe we'll miss by a couple of days or a week. But really, I want everybody to know that once we say it, it's going to happen, and kind of change that culture and that nature there. That's a little bit of a challenge, right? Because we don't have a great history with that. Okay, don't listen to me. Don't trust me. Just watch what we do.
Just watch what we do. There we go. That is very, very, very important. And I think there's a great example of this. This last Friday, I believe, I posted a node vote draft to the community, and holy hell did it create a lot of conversation and tension, and people got angry about stuff, and there were things that people liked, there were things that people hated. People got really, really mean. I got a couple death threats over this, weirdly. I mean, it's a weird thing, right? But it was about nodes, right? And what we did is we listened to the community, we collected their feedback, and we essentially put together options that came from the community and said, okay, this is what maybe this is better. We're doing our best to listen to the community and keep that promise of what we're creating, while also continuing to push development forward. And so we did that, and people are like, oh, okay. There's still some debate back and forth, as you would expect. I mean, but it's nothing is over the top right now. And so the thing that I would like to emphasize here is that we do listen to you. So yeah.
We ran a survey last week, actually, because I've been reading in Discord, reading what everybody's saying, controversies raised and some frustration and just emotions, which I love.
Yeah.
A passionate community is super fun. It's great. And so I asked Michelle to put out a survey. What do people like, right? We'll see stuff that makes people upset, but what do you like as we're thinking about carrying the game?
Right.
What do you like so we don't throw that out by accident? And we published a word cloud on it, and it's very clear that the long-term players, competition was the biggest word in that cloud. But the early players, people who only play for a month or two, really like fun and playing and the experience of the simulation. So that was very, very telling for us. But definitely, community feedback, community input.
Yeah, it's hugely important. Okay, this is one of those tough questions. Okay, this is one of those tough questions. Townstar PDE is your first game. Do you care about it at all?
Yeah.
Mark, do you care?
Sometimes you're being caps, right? Do you care? Do you even care?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure they are. The only reason that I don't think that they are in caps is I think the question came through in Korean, and as far as I know, there's no way to capitalize in Korean. I could be wrong. But go ahead.
Yes. It's a flagship game, and yes, we care about it. And the way that I know that I could be talking about this, and but reality is yes, staffing. We've increased the staffing. Got the note in the conversation with Eric, which was let overfund Townstar. You have agency to do what you need to make this game great.
Yes.
So that's what our plan is. Now, I know it's frustrating for players. They're like, oh, things aren't coming fast enough. We're changing that. And again, just, all I can say is watch what we do. We're going to walk the talk and, make it work. Hey, looks like Haley's joined us.
Haley has joined. I don't know if we have a little video spot for Haley, but you can say hi, Haley.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. How are you today? It's like 6 a.m. there.
Yes, it is.
Why are you talking to us at 6 a.m?
Just want to see you guys.
Aw. Well, we're in the middle of recording. We're actually creeping up on being done with most of the questions that people have asked.
That's good.
But we wanted to make sure that the community feels heard, that we have listened to them, that we are answering their questions, and that we're doing everything that we can to alleviate their concerns. There's obviously some stuff that we can't talk about, but we're doing our best to push this forward for them.
Good to hear. That's amazing.
Would you like to say anything in Korean to the community, as I know this is all being recorded?
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is too early for Haley. Have you had
Maybe
coffee
a
yet?
bit later after waking up fully.
6 a.m. Come on, Haley. Okay, yeah. So let's see.
And I thought of an interesting history story that might be fun.
I'm a big fan of history stories.
Okay, so I led the development of a game called Command and Conquer Riddler 2. And we knew back at the time StarCraft 1 was the game everybody's playing in Korea. And so we're like, hey, how can we go and take advantage and understanding all the experience that Korean players have on Command and Conquer? Excuse me, on StarCraft, and to make Riddler 2 even better. So that was my first trip there to Korea, where we set up at one of the game shops and had everybody play. Had some great feedback and everything. And so that was my first experience there, learning to how a couple of things, how intense the players in the Korean community are, how very dedicated and very serious they are about it. And
they're incredibly dedicated and serious. They take things far more seriously than any other community I have ever experienced or been a part of. And it's one of the things that makes me love them so much, because they care so much, and it's fantastic. It's sometimes a little bit terrifying, but
it is. So next step is, so when we're making Command and Conquer Generals, Riddler 2 did okay, but didn't really hit. We actually bought in. There was a player, an American player who was competing StarCraft at the time. I think his name was Guillaume, if I'm not mistaken. We brought him to our studio in Southern California and say, help us make this game better. It's great. So we made Command and Conquer Generals. Third part of the story. A few years later, after Generals had shipped, after Battle for Middle-earth had shipped, I was in Korea again. And I'm walking through the game shops. I happened to see two people in there playing Generals.
nice.
Dudes, I made this game, right? And they're like, play with us. I'm like, sure. First game, I won. Just because I don't know. They couldn't tell what I was playing. I didn't have a strategy. Second game, I was dead in like 30 seconds flat.
Yeah.
As typical, they optimized, and they could play my own game much better than I could, because they optimized the build order, they optimized clicking, they optimized everything. But it was just really fun.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, man. Yeah. So that is would you like to go to Korea at some point in time later this year? We can put together a trip and go say hi to the community. I think that would be cool.
I look at us as game makers as just part of the equation. The other
Yeah.
piece of the equation is community.
Yep, absolutely. Well, man, let's go ahead, and I think I've gone through. There's other questions that I can't really go into because there's a bunch of token price questions and things like that. But I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today for this.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Mark, for joining us, and thank you to the Korean community for putting together these questions, and thank you, Haley, for being awesome and getting it all into one place and doing all the translation and stuff. So you are amazing as always. And I guess we will catch you guys next time, and I'm going to go get ready for a live AMA here for the Node discussion. So I'm sure I'll see some of you there as well. Even if this isn't published yet, you'll see this later. But anyway, you guys rock.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.